Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Arrow episode 5 video, Secret Origins of Felicity Smoke, or Goth Felicity Smoke. So many things to talk about in this episode, most notably Felicity and her backstory. But there's also a lot of Ray Palmer stuff that it was setting up, as well as Thea, Merlin, and the Wildcat character, as well as a big WTF at the end. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet, but starting with top 5 moments. Number 5, everyone gets a training montage. Probably one of the best openings to any episode I've ever seen on Arrow. They've been mirroring the Roy Oliver relationship with Thea and Merlin, but now they opened it up so we get to see Laurel training with Wildcat, as well as a really funny Felicity cut to. It was a great action scene that was edited really well too. Very intense and very funny at the cutaway. Just to jump to Thea for a second, I know everyone's wondering what her superhero alias is going to be. I think she's going to be Mia Dearden, just going to be Speedy. Oliver called her Speedy in the episode again. He hasn't done that in a while. I just think it's clear foreshadowing. Shifting focus back to Felicity, star of the week. I love that they had her training, but they didn't make it hilarious in a way that made fun of her. She is a very funny person, but she's working out just like anybody else would. It's just like in the comics when they would have Lois Lane doing very human things. Very supernatural character, even though she didn't have her own superpowers, but still did very mundane, everyday things. It just humanizes the characters that much more. I think the cast as well as the writers on Arrow have done a really good job of helping us bond with these characters really closely over the last 2 seasons, and they get 23 episodes a season, so that gives them a little bit more time. Coupled with the flashbacks, it almost feels like Felicity was one of your best friends from college that you just haven't talked to in a while. Number 4, we are invited into Felicity's home. This is the mythical Promised Land, somewhere we have never been but have always wondered about. Before the season started, Mark Guggenheim was totally awesome and posted a picture of this scene early. Everyone was just looking around her room at all the little details, like what would Felicity have in her room, most notably the Robin and Marion poster above her TV. There's probably some other Easter eggs in there too, so if you spotted some others, just be sure to write them below in the comments. The whole marathon of jokes at Felicity's house was just amazing, with Ray Palmer busting in and then her mother. The focus is all on the awkwardness of the situation, but did you catch the bit about the Ray Palmer wearables, like those computers that you wear on your wrist? I feel like that's going to come back in a big way later this season. Stephen Amell teased that Oliver is going to get some additions to his Arrow costume. I think he's going to get some Palmer tech, like he's going to get some computer wearables that are going to enhance his abilities. Not like strength or anything like that, like he's not going to get a super suit, but think about the idea of cogeneration. He said that like 5 times in the episode, cogeneration over and over. And the idea of wearing computers, like computer wearables. For anyone that was confused too, cogeneration is just the process whereby you capture waste and turn it into more energy. He was talking about like a big power plant, like an actual big power plant. People do that all the time all over the world. But I think they might find a way to incorporate it into wearable technology, like into the suits. Speaking of power, number 3, Laurel and Thea make some power plays. So let's start up with Thea and her sweet new pad. I like the idea that she's using Merlin's money. Obviously, Merlin is giving her money, but Oliver doesn't know that. Totally do not think it's odd that she chose an apartment with a big open space. Obviously going to be doing a lot of sword fighting in there. I did think it was weird that she asked Oliver to move in. She's working with Merlin, and Merlin didn't look super happy at the end of the episode, so I don't think there's a super big plan that's going on behind the scenes there. I think that she just wants to be close to him. The thing about that though is how long is it going to be before Oliver catches her doing something super badass? They had that moment at Verdant whenever she was trying to get into the Arrow Cave. I feel like that's a whole other side plot by itself. I think she knows something is up, and part of the reason she invited him to live with her is so that she can find out. She can keep eyes on him a little bit better. Remember though that Oliver does not know that Thea knows he is the Arrow. Moving to Laurel, surprise district attorney. I think her whole plot was just about her opening up to Wildcat, about her sister dying, about Sarah dying. Like he said at the end, now I finally know how to train you. Is it going to be red or black? That was just a nice shout out to Black Canary colors. I will say, of all the characters on the show right now, it feels like Quentin is the most reasonable. Like he is taking this all in stride. Number 2, all of the amazing Felicity flashbacks. Just to promote the episode, the CW had been running this hashtag, Who is Felicity Smoke? I think it was a little bit silly because we know who Felicity Smoke is. This was just all about expanding on her backstory. We know a little bit about her, like she went to MIT, she was very smart. This is just where we learn about goth Felicity Smoke in all her dark, beautiful glory. To be fair though, I don't think that she was a true goth. I think she was too full of emotion to be goth. Either way, that goth period of her life was basically like Oliver's time on the island. That was the parallel they were trying to draw. It was her first attempt at trying to be a hero. Just like when Oliver used to kill people. He found a better way, then Felicity found a better way. Everyone has to start somewhere. Couple of really awesome Easter eggs in those flashback scenes. So her boyfriend is named Cooper Sheldon, just a nice twist on Big Bang Theory's Sheldon Cooper. He was wearing a Starro shirt, and she had a big Zork call out. That was like a big Infocom game. It was like a text-based RPG that people, you'd have to be like in your 40s or 50s maybe to have played it when you were in school. It's really old. It was back from the 80s. Add to that her boyfriend in modern day had a big Brother Eye shout out. That was a huge part of Identity Crisis and Infinite Crisis, where a satellite became self-aware and just started unleashing OMACs on the Earth. If you remember, there is a subplot with Ray Palmer this season on Arrow with OMAC. I don't think it's going to get into Brother Eye territory. I think it's just going to deal mostly with the weapons aspect of it. But it's just a nice shout out to those things in the comics. And my number one WTF moment, obviously, Roy hallucinates killing Sarah. So many theories we can spin about this, but the best thing of all is that they're not waiting to follow up on it. Roy is not keeping it a secret. He opens up to Felicity in the teaser for the next episode. So obviously they'll try and figure things out. I don't think that that's going to happen till we get closer to the mid-season finale though. This whole who killed Sarah thing has been a big runner. I think they're going to continue to tease it out. Right away my thoughts are Mirakuru After Effects, brainwashing, or hypnotism. All very comic booky things. Arrow, being a crime drama, doesn't go too far into the comics, so I think whatever the real explanation is, it'll be something a little bit more practical. It could turn out that one of the villains we haven't met yet is responsible for making Roy do this. I don't think it's something that Roy did. I don't think that Ra's al Ghul has anything to do with it. But let me know, what was your favorite moment, and what are all your Roy theories? So I pretty much already mentioned all the Easter eggs I found in the episode, like the Zork game, Starro t-shirt, Brother Eye, Cooper Sheldon, all of the inside of Felicity's apartment. I didn't see it in the episode, but I might have just missed it. Mark Guggenheim, whenever he tweeted out the picture of the inside of Felicity's room, he also tweeted a picture of a sign that said Sherwood Florist. In the comics, during the Longbow Hunters storyline, Oliver and Black Canary move to Seattle. She gets a flower shop called Sherwood Florist, and they use it as their base of operations. It becomes their version of Verdant in the Arrow Cave, pretty much. Overall, I give the episode a solid A just for being really funny, really great action, and spending so much time with its secondary characters. I feel like that's a really important thing. Most big series only get to spend time on like 3 or 4 main characters. Now that Arrow's been on for a few seasons, they have a little bit more time to spend with secondary characters, namely Felicity, Laurel, all these other people, and it just makes things so much richer when these characters get that much more interesting. I've always been in love with the Felicity character. She's totally one of my favorites, mostly because of Emily Bett's performance as well as the writing. This whole episode just felt like fan service for me in a really funny way. I'm really digging the direction they're taking Laurel in. Obviously they're taking their time in getting her to Black Canary. Like she's gonna take a lot of punches before she gets there. She crossed the line in this episode. I think she's just gonna continue to do that until she finds the right amount of badassery. Black Canary in the comics has always been a really angry character, kind of vicious, so that's why whenever Sarah came on, it was really appropriate. And now Laurel is going way beyond that, but she's never going to be just like Oliver. Oliver's got this really zen thing going on. I don't think she's ever going to be that. She's always going to be that angry person, and I think that's a good thing. I think it would be totally boring if everyone acted just like Oliver. Thea too, she's going to be a lot more fun this season. I feel like she's just going to have so much fun messing with Oliver while they're living together. They didn't confirm that Oliver's going to move in with her, but I feel like there was so much setup that that's going to happen. Like, he's definitely going to move in with her. Either way, that end credit scene was the perfect way to make sure that everyone tunes in next week. So be sure to subscribe to get my video. I'll post it right after that episode airs. I don't think they're going to answer whether or not Roy actually did it. I think that they'll just start following that trail of breadcrumbs. And for everyone asking about what happened with The Flash this week and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just because in the United States we had midterm elections, they postponed both those episodes, so they'll air next week. Because the mid-season of Arrow and The Flash are supposed to work together, they'll probably, in a future week, in the next couple of weeks, just not air an episode of Arrow so that they're both on the same schedule. Or they'll air episodes of Flash back to back. They'll make it so that they line up again, so don't worry about that. So in case you haven't seen it yet, you can click here for Arrow Episode 4, Nis Al Ghul on Arrow, Ra's al Ghul, big reveal, and you can click here to catch up on The Flash. Thank you so much for watching, so let's all high five, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.